My name is Donald, and I'm one of the festival directors.
And I'm Marina, and I am also one of the festival directors.
There are many festivals that we've attended. Most of them are curated, and most of them curated meaning there's a festival director that actually pick and choose the kind of content that goes into the festival. But when we discuss about Kuching and what sort of a platform we wanted to actually create, we wanted it to be very open, very, very accessible to everyone. So hence, when we developed the idea, we coined the idea of celebrating art, culture and lifestyle, which encompasses pretty much every genre that you can think of. And the inspiration for the festival itself came again from the people that we engaged, people that sat in the first discussion with us, because they were people from, the wordsmiths of Kuching, there were urban sketches of Kuching, there were so many different from, the photography segment of it as well, there were the performing arts, the music as well. So there were so many different talents that were keen to actually get their acts onto a stage. So we said, let's give everybody equal opportunity, have it as an open access platform, which means we accept, in most cases, all of submissions, proposals sent to us. But they must also make sense. If they don't really make sense, then we will have to sort of discuss with them and see how to make it even more solid. It was created as a collective idea in collaboration with everyone. So our name, our mission and objective, all were actually developed by the community. We had a discussion, everybody discussed it, and everybody said, yes, this is what we want, so this is what we did. We documented it, and so we are not shy in saying that it is really a community event. 2017 was a crazy year for us. We put our heads on the chopping block in a sense because there was very little support, and to run a festival over an entire month with so many different events required a lot of resources, and we had to go out and sort of plead it with all the people that we know, come and support the event. From the hardware storekeepers who are our friends, they came on board as well by sponsoring transportation to transport certain things to certain sites, loaning us scaffolding to put up exhibitions, so many different people from so many different walks of life. And then the biggest boost to us was when the staging partner, Eco Premier Sun and Light, said, okay, we believe in your idea and we want to actually be on board. We want to support this event because we think that it's important too. So they came on board and they provided staging, and they said, okay, we started together. We do not expect any payment from you for the first year, but we will grow this together, right? So that's how we were able to provide decent staging to all our collaborators, all our organizers, so they had good sound, good light, good stage to be able to perform what they're good at. And that's how it started. It was frantic, it was madness because we had very little resource again, repeating myself, but the passion, I think, of everyone coming together pulled it off, and it became a very huge success. And amidst it all, we were able to convince our minister, who just came into office, come and visit some of the events, and he was very, very inspired and very, very touched by what he saw that the community could actually bring to the table. So he promised us then that moving forward, he will try his best to get his ministry to support WAK even more in the coming years. So that's what's actually happened. It offered people a nice and activity-filled month to enjoy in Kuching City.
I think the most difficult, although it's not in the question, the most difficult bit of it is trying to explain to people what WAK is, that it is actually an umbrella and there's so many different events in the bottom. Trying to explain to people that is quite a task actually, but eventually it kind of clicked after the whole event in 2017. People understand it more.
I think also the challenge was to explain the value proposition to all the people who came together, like the organizers. That is, in a nutshell, what the value of an umbrella festival holds for collaborators, for sponsors, for even people who come in and help volunteers and audiences. You have very, very attractive value proposition because you have so many different events. You are gathering the community together for a festival, a celebration. We did not come up with it. It was coined by our creative community. We were looking for a name for it. We knew the direction, we knew the concept in general to move forward, but we didn't have a name. So we gathered one day in one of the cafes in Upper China Street and started brainstorming this. I think there was about 10, 12 of us. And then everybody was at a loss. Everybody had fantastic ideas, very fancy names, blah 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 blah, whatever it is. But there was not a single name that resonated with everybody. Everybody, you suggested a name, I would think, it's okay, but it's not perfect. Then I would suggest one. So it went on like this quite a while until somebody just sort of
someone
was
said
thinking,
something.
yeah,
And then they said, what is it?
yeah, what about Kuching?
Yeah.
What did you say about Kuching? What about Kuching? Right? And then everybody turned to him and said,
What about Kuching?
What about Kuching? Then everybody started sort of realizing that could be a very possible name. It had a very, very funny tone to it. What, and because it is what about Kuching, the idea was conversation, and if we remembered properly, was that a lot of things happen outside of Kuching. Like all the big concerts, all the big names, all the big stars would be performing in Singapore, KL, Bangkok, Jakarta. What about Kuching? Why Kuching does not have anything happening here? What about Kuching? So we said, okay, that's a really nice title for the festival. And then adding to that, we said, okay, it also doesn't stop at just what about Kuching. If we wanted to be clever next time, we could actually make it a lot about Kuching, right? And then eventually all about Kuching,
As the years go by.
And then for when the festival is on, you could have dance about Kuching, sing about Kuching, paint about Kuching, and there's so many things that you could actually devise out from that little phrase. So we said, okay, that's a good title. So it became WAK. What about Kuching? Right? And I don't think any one person can claim credit to the name. It belongs to the community. It was devised by the community, so the community owns it. That's how we always say that the community owns the festival, because it is only as good as what people put on show for that month, right?
Because really, it is about the community.
It is actually, because you see, even the name itself, What About Kuching, puts up the show, point out by the community. The community changes all the time. Every year, there will be people who are coming new on board, and then the previous year's collaborators would sort of have a break, and then there will be new people. So it's ever changing. So with What About Kuching, we confidently say it's a festival that is staged by the community, for the audience as well, right? So effectively, it belongs to the community, to everyone. Right? So we felt that is a very, very appropriate tagline to sell the festival, because whatever you see is put on by the local talents, and of course there will be eventually more and more visiting talents coming into showcase as well, but the creative community for the community of audience that is here. So that's why we call it by the community, for the community.
The reason why for the community is because the people that we need to convince are the local people first. Only then can you convince people who are outside of Sarawak. That is what we're thinking, because we do know that a lot of Sarawakians, our community, actually have families all over the world. If you're convinced about our local community, what they come up with, what they're showcasing, they will ask their friends and family to come to Kuching. So the people who convince first are the people. That's the reason why we say by the community, for the community.